My friend, this is not a message of opinion, but of revelation. There are moments in time when the heavens lean close, when the trumpet does not sound from man, but from the throne. And I heard it, a stirring in the spirit about a date, a warning, a window, await. August 5, 2025. You see, God does not function on man's calendar, but he speaks through it. And there are dates when eternity intersects with time, when the hidden becomes visible, and when the church must not sleep. This is one of those moments. There are moments in time that are not chosen by man, but ordained by God. Moments when heaven writes into the calendar of earth, when eternity invades time, and when what seems ordinary is infused with divine weight. August 5, 2025 is not just another date on the calendar. It is a threshold, a hinge, a turning point. It is a day appointed by the Sovereign One, not for ceremony or celebration, but for confrontation between what is and what must be, between the fleeting and the eternal, between man's agenda and God's will. From the beginning of time, God has marked certain days. Days when nations rise and empires fall. Days when the unseen is made visible and when the trumpet of warning is blown from the watchtower of heaven. This is one of those days. It will not wait for the approval of kings, presidents, or preachers. It will not conform to the comforts of culture or the indifference of a lukewarm generation. It will come as it was ordained, full of weight, full of purpose, and full of reckoning. The Lord is speaking through time itself. The signs are converging, the hourglass is emptying, and the silence of delay is giving way to the sound of movement. It is as though the Spirit is saying, prepare the way of the Lord, for what is coming will not leave the earth the same. August 5 will stand as a divine crossroads, not just for nations, but for individuals. Not just for systems, but for hearts. The decisions made in this window will not be temporary, they will echo. What God showed me is not meant to create fear, but to awaken urgency. Not panic, but preparation. For the Lord does not act without first revealing his word to his servants. And this word comes not from man's reasoning, but from the breath of the Spirit. The appointment has been written. The invitation has been issued, and only those who walk in discernment will recognize the weight of this hour. Time is not just passing, it is counting down, and the calendar is no longer neutral. The day is approaching, and with it the glory and the shaking, the refining and the revealing, the mercy and the fire. The destiny of many will be altered, shaped, and sealed in this moment. Heaven is watching, the earth is trembling, and the appointed day draws near. There is a moment in every season when the veil is torn, when that which was hidden in shadow is brought into the light. The Spirit of the Lord is moving, not to entertain, but to expose. And what has been concealed behind closed doors, what has been protected by reputation, position, or pride, will be uncovered. The time has come when God will no longer allow deception to sit comfortably within his house, nor corruption to wear the garments of righteousness. The unveiling will not begin in the world, but in the place that bears his name. Judgment begins in the house of God. Ministries built on manipulation, platforms built on performance, and pulpits occupied by the unrepentant will be stripped of their coverings. God is not impressed by crowds, credentials, or charisma. He's looking for clean hands and pure hearts, and where they are absent, he will remove what man refuses to confront. Even in personal lives, this unveiling will touch those who have hidden their brokenness behind busyness, who have numbed conviction with noise, who have tried to outrun the quiet voice of the Spirit. The Lord is calling hearts into the light, not to shame them, but to set them free, because the time is short, and the hidden things must be brought to the surface before the door of mercy closes. We are living in a time when the physical realm is no longer detached from the spiritual. What happens in the headlines is echoing what has already been spoken in the heavens. The shaking of the earth is mirroring the tremble in the spirit. And what once seemed like coincidence is now undeniable confirmation. God is speaking through signs, not hidden in mystery, but revealed in plain sight for those whose spirits are awake. There are signs in the weather, storms that form out of season, droughts where there was once abundance, floods where the ground used to be dry. The atmosphere itself is groaning. The earth is responding to the weight of sin and the approach of glory. Fires rage not just on land, but in the heavenlies. The natural is no longer natural. It is prophetic. It is an alarm, a warning, a declaration that something is shifting. There are signs in the nations, sudden collapses of governments, unexpected rises of voices that seem to come from nowhere, and alliances being formed that contradict reason. These are not just political developments, they are divine setups. Kingdoms of men are being realigned because the King of Heaven is preparing to do what no system can predict and no ruler can stop. The unraveling is not chaos, it is construction. God is tearing down what he never built and exposing what he never blessed. There are signs in culture where evil is now called good and truth is treated like an offense, where children are confused, families are fractured, and morality has become a matter of opinion. But none of it is accidental. The increase of darkness is a sign, not of defeat, but of the nearness of light. As deception spreads, the hunger for truth increases in the remnant. As the world celebrates rebellion, heaven prepares for revival. The conflict is a sign. The shaking is a sign. The groaning of creation is a sign. And while the world looks outward, the Spirit speaks inward. The confirmation is not found on screens, but in the secret place. The Spirit bears witness, not just with information, but with revelation. He reveals the meaning behind the movements, the truth behind the turmoil. For those who walk with him, nothing is random. The chaos of man is the choreography of God. There are things being seen with human eyes that only make sense to spiritual hearts. God is allowing the signs to intensify, not to confuse, but to awaken. He is confirming in the spirit what is happening in the world. Dreams are increasing. Prophetic urgency is rising. Discernment is sharpening. Because the people of God must not be caught unaware. What happens on August 5 will not be isolated. It will be part of a greater pattern, a prophetic chain reaction that confirms what the Spirit has been saying long before it appears in public view. This is a time to watch, not just with natural sight, but with spiritual insight. Because what seems like breaking news is often old news to heaven. And what God has whispered in the secret place will be shouted through the events unfolding around us. The signs are not subtle anymore. The Spirit is not silent. And confirmation is coming to those who are listening, watching, and ready to respond. There are moments in time that serve as gates, not merely transitions, but thresholds. These are not just changes in season, but choices in destiny. August 5, 2025 is one such moment. It is a gate in the Spirit, a place of decision that carries eternal weight. Not everyone will recognize it. Not everyone will discern it. But those who are listening to the voice of the Lord will know. This is not a day to drift. It is a day to decide. Throughout Scripture, God brings his people to gates. Gates of promise, gates of battle, gates of judgment, gates of breakthrough. And every gate demands a response. At the gate, there is no middle ground. It is where the path splits, where compromise is no longer tolerated and neutrality becomes rebellion. The gate demands that you choose life or death, blessing or curse, obedience or disobedience. This is not the hour to be double-minded. This is not the time to hesitate between two opinions. The Lord is placing before his people a decision. Not in theory, but in action. It is not about what you say, but what you serve. The idols must be torn down. The secret sins must be renounced. The fear of man must be crucified. Because when you come to the gate, you cannot carry with you what was never meant to enter. the next season. God is drawing a line in the sand, and on one side is comfort, and on the other is consecration. This gate is personal, but it is also national. There are decisions being made in high places that will set the course of nations. There are alliances being formed, laws being written, and declarations being spoken that will either invite judgment or delay it. The gate is where the future begins to be written, and once crossed, the consequences follow. The door of mercy is open, but it will not remain open indefinitely. The gate will not wait for the undecided. There are those who will walk through this gate and never return. For some, it will be the beginning of a deeper walk with God, a surrender that brings transformation. For others, it will be the sealing of rebellion, a turning away that hardens the heart. This gate carries weight. The Spirit is pleading, not suggesting. The choice made at this gate will echo into the next season and even into eternity. This is the gate of Elijah, who stood on Mount Carmel and demanded a decision from a wavering people. This is the gate of Moses, who cried out, "Who is on the Lord's side?" This is the gate of Joshua, who declared, "Choose this day whom you will serve." And now once again, the gate stands open, not for everyone, but for those with ears to hear. You can't be carried through this gate. You must walk through it with conviction. You must step across it with no turning back. This moment is not about survival. It's about separation. The Spirit is dividing the wheat from the chaff, the called from the crowd, the obedient from the religious. And as the gate opens, every decision will be weighed, every heart will be revealed, and every allegiance will be tested. Because the gate is not just a passage, it is a mirror. It will show who you truly are. And in that light, the time to decide is now. While the world braces in fear and confusion, there is another sound, quieter but stronger. It is the sound of hope rising, not from the voices of men, but from the throne of God. For though the days are dark and the shaking intense, there is always a remnant who walk not in fear, but in faith. There is a people who do not panic when the winds howl, because their foundation is not built on sand, but on the rock that cannot be moved. To them, this hour does not bring despair, it brings clarity. The ones who have been preparing in the secret place will not be surprised by what is coming. They have been hidden, refined, and tested. They have walked through seasons of silence, endured seasons of pruning, and remained faithful when nothing made sense. And now, as the fire comes to test every man's work, those who have built on obedience will stand. They will not only endure, they will rise, because what breaks others will reveal them, but always reserves glory for the prepared. While the crowds run after signs, the prepared carry his presence. While others react, the prepared respond. They are not shaken because they were never standing on what can be shaken. They are anchored in his voice, rooted in his word, sealed by his Spirit. Their preparation was not panic-driven. It came through obedience in the quiet hours, surrender in the unseen places, and trust in the wilderness when every other voice went silent. These are the ones who will shine when the lights of the world go out. These are the ones who will carry the word of the Lord when truth is scarce. These are the ones who will rise with healing in their hands, clarity in their eyes, and fire in their bones. Not because they are better, but because they were ready. While the world scoffed, they listened. While others slept, they watched. While many compromised, they consecrated. They were not moved by the trends of the age. They were moved by the weight of eternity. Hope is not the absence of trouble. It is the presence of God in the midst of it. And for the prepared, that presence will be unmistakable. When fear grips the hearts of many, they will walk in peace that makes no sense to the natural mind. When others retreat, they will advance. When others collapse under pressure, they will carry others through the fire. Because they did not wait for the storm to pray, they prayed before the storm ever formed. The Spirit of God is releasing strength to those who have been waiting, refreshing to those who have not wavered, and wisdom to those who have remained teachable. In a time of division, they will walk in discernment. In a time of deception, they will walk in revelation. And in a time of great loss, they will be carriers of resurrection life. Everything they've walked through, every delay, every breaking, every unanswered question has been preparation. Not punishment, not abandonment, but divine formation. And now, as the shaking comes and the world cries out for answers, those who have been prepared in the presence will emerge with the message, with the mantle, and with the authority of heaven. And now, after all that has been revealed, after the call, the warning, the shaking, the unveiling, the gate, the mystery, the decision, one truth remains unshaken. God is still on the throne. He is not surprised by what is coming. He is not silent in this hour. He is calling, he is separating, he is preparing, and he is speaking to those who will listen. August 5, 2025 is not just a date. It is a divine interruption, a prophetic alarm, a moment that heaven will mark and history will remember. What you do with this word will matter, not just in this life, but in the one to come. So to the remnant, rise. To the weary, be strengthened. To the watchers, keep watching. To the undecided, the time is now. If you've heard his voice today, do not harden your heart. If you feel the weight, it is not to crush you, but to awaken you. If the fire burns in your bones, it is because you are being set apart. Thank you for listening. Thank you for standing in this hour. Thank you for not bowing, for not retreating, and for not losing hope. May the Lord bless you, keep you, and establish you unshaken in a shaken world. Until the next word, stay vigilant, stay ready, and stay faithful. Thank you.